The next part of our setup is to set up authentication. What this means is we want to make certain that GitHub and Get is going to be used on your local computer, and GitHub is an online website. We're going to make certain that we have the ability to connect those together and they've been authenticated. They have a username password that works for them. We don't use our standard username and password, although your username is going to be the GitHub username. The password is going to come from a different location entirely, not something you'd probably figure out on your own unless you went through some online readings. So what we're going to do is on your GitHub page, scroll all the way to the top of your page and find your profile icon. You need to be able to see that. I'm going to click that profile icon. We're going to go down to settings. So we're going to load up a new website here, a new link, and we're going to scroll all the way down on the left. The last part of the menu says developer settings, unless things change. Developer settings we're looking for. We're trying to add in a personal access token. This is one of two main ways you can connect to Get. If you are using SSH and you want to keep using it, it's not going to hurt. But the instruction we're using is using a personal access token, which I find a little bit easier to set up personally. So we're going to be using a personal access token, and we're going to click that. And I already have one. I'm going to delete it from an old version. And I'm going to generate a new token. You're going to need this to do per computer. So if you're using multiple different computers to access your repos, you'll have to do this one time per computer. I do this actually every few months, so it's not a big deal for me. So generate a new token. It's going to ask you to type in your password for GitHub. That's your regular password for GitHub. It's going to ask you a note. So maybe you have a note that says this is your personal access token specifically for Bloom Tech, or just a personal access token. What do you want to name it? It's going to ask you, how long do you want this personal access token to exist? This is kind of like a password your computer is going to know. It's going to be telling GitHub to say you are allowed to connect. And you oftentimes don't want to have that go for super long. And if you want to read into why, go ahead and look it up online and see why it's not useful to have that super long. So you might have a really short password. You might do a custom expiration date. You might say no expiration date if you don't really care. But I highly recommend you have it as expiring at some point. So 30 days, 90 days, whatever it is. Just know that that does mean you'll have to redo this step again. It doesn't take super long. It's kind of like just making a new password and connecting it, and that's it. Anyways, choose your date, have your note, and choose repo. This one repo button will automatically select the rest, and we can ignore the rest. So once we have those three things done off, we'll go down here and generate a token. Now you're going to see my token here. This is my unique password that I'm going to use, but it's going to be deleted right after this, so you're not going to use it yourself. Please don't do that. So go ahead and copy this. You can copy this password, or actually just leave it open temporarily, but you can copy the password by clicking this symbol right here. This is the universal symbol for copying. You'll need it later. I would leave this website open.